Thank you, Chairman Bouchon, for holding this hearing, and I want to welcome Dr. Merritt and Dr. Revizu. Let me begin by saying that I understand that America faces a serious debt threat. If we don't do anything to rein in our long-term debt, our economic future will be imperiled. Solving this problem will require some budget cuts. But I hope that going forward we can make these cuts in a smart way that addresses the various near-term and long-term challenges that our nation faces. In doing this, we'll have to set priorities. Sometimes when you set priorities, this will mean cutting, spending, and sometimes it may mean increasing investments in areas that deliver real returns for taxpayers. By improving our quality of life, protecting our population from natural and man-made threats, and ensuring our economic competitiveness. Therefore, I'm pleased that the administration's FY14 budget request continues to emphasize science, innovation, and STEM education generally, and the National Science Foundation in particular. Even though NSF has fared well in recent appropriations bills, continued uncertainty over funding levels has hurt scientific progress. The agencies and universities can't plan. Some of the best and brightest give up and leave their labs. And younger generation sees what their mentors are up against and choose a different path altogether. Our own committee will have the opportunity to weigh in on budget and programmatic priorities across the agency as we consider an NSF reauthorization bill sometime in the next several weeks. So I appreciate this opportunity to learn more about the nature and scope of research and STEM education activities proposed in the budget. Let me just comment on a few of the priorities described in the budget. First, you'll not be surprised I'm excited to see the proposed increase in the I-Corps program. As I've said many times now, I strongly believe that this program embodies the NSF's original mission of both promoting the progress of science and advancing the national prosperity. Although it's only a fraction of a % of NSF's budget, early results support my long-held belief that I-Corps will yield exponential benefits, helping turn NSF's research investments into new companies and jobs for the benefit of all Americans. Last summer, I hosted a field hearing in Chicago to learn more about this program and its early successes. For my new colleagues who haven't looked at this program in depth, it's important to note that this program educates scientists on how to develop viable commercial products from their research. It connects them with like-minded venture capitalists and entrepreneurs. The final decisions on whether or not to commercialize research still rest with scientists in question, and of course with the private sector, which would fund the ideas. Already we are seeing results with I-Corps graduates such as Neon receiving venture capital funding for a product developed through the program. This public-private partnership is in the best tradition of U.S. science policy, and I look forward to working with the NSF as this program develops. Second, I'm pleased with the continued emphasis on advanced manufacturing at NSF and several other agencies. We must regrow our American manufacturing base, and we will not do it with the technologies and processes of yesterday. But the small and medium-sized industries that comprise a significant portion of our manufacturing capacity can't do it all on their own, and they certainly don't have the resources or capacity to invest in most far-reaching R&D. NSF plays a critical role in funding basic research with potential application to the advanced manufacturing technologies and processes of the future. There are many other interesting proposals in this budget request, including the increased focus on big data, the expansion of the INSPIRE program to support interdisciplinary research, and NSF's plan to begin to implement the OSTP policy memorandum on public access to the results of federally funded research. It's also good to see that all of the current MREFC projects are on track, and NSF is moving ahead with the Large Synoptic Survey Telescope. I'll wrap up with a few comments and questions about the agency's proposals for consolidating many of its STEM education programs, both within the agency and as part of the administration's federal-wide STEM reorganization. Mostly, I'd like to hear more details about all of these proposals, because some of them seem to still be rough sketches. For example, with respect to the Consolidated National Graduate Research Fellowship Program, I have no doubt that NSF's own graduate research fellowships will continue without disruption. But I wonder how NSF will work with the mission agencies to ensure that their mission-specific needs are being met through this new consolidated national program administered by NSF. I'd also like to understand better what's being proposed for graduate traineeships and what's new about the consolidated undergraduate program, or if it's mostly a repackaging of existing programs. I suspect many of my colleagues will have STEM questions for you today also. With that, I want to thank again Dr. Merritt and Dr. Revizu for being here today. I look forward to your testimony and our discussion. With that, I'll yield back.